Our cover story tonight is about an international botch-up. Hundreds of flights are being grounded, this time not because of the Wuhan virus, but because of technology, 5G technology. What was promised as our boarding pass to the future has grounded our flights. Pilots around the world are afraid to fly to the US, and this includes India's oldest carrier, Air India. It had suspended several flights to the United States because pilots fear 5G waves could bring planes down. And this is no exaggeration. The risk is real, and the chaos over the last few days led to serious questions. One, is 5G dangerous? And two, why did no one think of this before? When countries were pouring billions of dollars into 5G, are we looking at rollbacks now or upgrades? On Gravitas tonight, we'll discuss all of this, starting with a problem. This week, America's phone networks are getting a major 5G upgrade. Verizon and at&t are switching to new and faster 5G technologies. Faster internet and more network capacity, at least that's the promise that they've made to their customers. But this upgrade has spooked pilots. First, the pilots of American carriers protested against the rollout. Chief executives of American Airlines, Delta Airlines, United and Southwest wrote a joint letter. They said they will ground their planes. Then international carriers cancelled flights. India's Air India, the UAE's Emirates, Japan's Nippon and Japan Airlines, Germany's Lufthansa and British Airways, they've all either modified their flight schedules or cancelled their flights altogether. How many cancellations are we talking about? At least 250 flights to the US in the past couple of days. These airlines won't fly to major American cities like Boston, Chicago, San Francisco and New York. However, some airlines have begun resuming flights. Air India is one of them. It says it will resume flights to the US. So if you're flying to America this week, make sure you check your flight schedule once again. And it's not just commercial flights that will be hit. Cargo planes have also been affected. Delivery giants like FedEx and UPS are afraid to fly. Here's what they said in a statement, and I can quote for you. To be blunt, the nation's commerce will grind to a halt. What are all of these companies afraid of? What are pilots complaining about? A device called a radio altimeter. All planes have this device, a radio altimeter. What does it do? It tells you how far the plane is from the ground. Pilots use it during poor visibility. A radio altimeter basically helps them land the plane. So it's indispensable. But America's new and faster 5G could break this device. Pilots say the new 5G network in the US could interfere with radio altimeters on their planes. 5G waves could confuse this device, and pilots fear that they could be blinded by this interference. They won't be able to tell how far the plane is from the ground.
The frequency band that 5G uses is very similar to the frequency band that radar altimeters use. And there's possibility that there's interference or false signals with the 5G and our radar altimeters.
So that's the big worry. What's the solution? A buffer zone. Airlines and pilots want no 5G around airports. Let me read what they said in a statement, and I'm quoting. The airlines ask that 5G be implemented everywhere in the country except within the approximate 3.2 kilometers of airport runways at some key airports. The problem has become too big to ignore for the White House, and for good reason. 5G threatens to shut down a major part of the US economy. On Tuesday, Washington said a solution is being discussed.
Tomorrow is the deadline. Our objective is, of course, to reach a solution around 5G deployment that maintains the highest level of safety while minimizing disruptions to passenger travel. That's what we're working towards.
Today, a compromise was reached. at&t and Verizon have delayed the 5G launch near key airports. They say they won't switch on the 5G towers near airports. But that decision has not restored confidence. Some flights are back on schedule, but US federal officials say that you should expect delays and cancellations of flights. And this is a problem that could have been avoided. And if it is not resolved quickly, thousands of people could be affected. Let me give you some estimates. If 5G continues interfering with planes, as many as 350,000 flights could be delayed every year. 350,000. Airlines predict that on a busy day, at least 100,000 passengers could be affected. They could be forced to face cancellations, diversions, or delays. What is the cost of such disruption? $1.6 billion every year. And I'm not talking about the losses that airlines would suffer. The passengers, you and I, would bear this cost, this loss. More than $1 billion every year due to flight delays. So the most obvious question now is, why did not anyone think about this before? Who is to blame for this mess? A bitter blame game is on. It's between the American civil aviation regulators and telecom companies. Regulators say the new 5G technology has not been tested. 5G in the US is said to be 2.5 times more powerful than anywhere else in the world. Pilots and carriers say more tests are needed to ensure that this kind of 5G can coexist with the planes. The telecom companies are blaming regulators. Here is what one of them said, and I'm quoting again. We are frustrated by the FAA's inability to do what nearly 40 countries have done, 40, which is to safely deploy 5G technology without disrupting aviation services, and we urge it to do so in a timely manner. The FAA is the Federal Aviation Administration, which is basically the American civil aviation regulator. So this problem is not new. 5G is available commercially in 61 countries now. More than 1,300 cities get 5G signals. But except for the US, planes seem to be landing safely everywhere else. So what is the conclusion? The United States botched up its 5G rollout. That is the conclusion. There is a lesson here for the rest of the world. 5G is coming. It's only a matter of time, it seems. By 2030, the 5G ecosystem will be worth $8 trillion the world over. No country would want to miss out on this opportunity, but if you cannot get your rollout right, you're bound to lose money rather than making it. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.